Hi everyone, this is Robbie with Warriorspirit-teachings, and today I want to talk with everybody about opening your heart and sharing your love with the world. So I want to start off with a little prayer. So I have some sage here, and so I'm going to light this. I kind of like to do a prayer, kind of cleanse the space. And it's just good to pray. All right. Thank you, Tankashala, God, the angels, my spirit guides. Thank you all for all of your support and your guidance, and for your direction and helping me through this life. Tankashala, I ask that you bless everyone here, that you watch out for them, to help them to open their hearts and to expand with more love. I pray that you will help all of us on the planet, help for the energy to be lighter, more free, more full of love and happiness. Thank you, Tankashala, for everything. Thank you for this beautiful life, this beautiful world. Amen. Mitakyo Yase. All right, I'm just going to put this out. I have some stones here today, and I was going to share them with you. So these are excellent at helping you open your heart and your heart chakra. And so this one, I love it. It's in a little heart shape, obviously, and this one's an ocean jasper. Has so many different colors in it. It's one of my favorite stones. Has like mustard yellow, that golden color, kind of a dark green, light green, red, and like a light blue in there. So it's pretty interesting. But ocean jasper is amazing at helping you heal and work through emotions. And so, that's all connected to the heart. So this one's really great to help with all matters of the heart. And then this one is just rose quartz, and this one is probably one of the #1 heart stones out there, if you will. It's just a light pink, and this is amazing at activating your heart energy. And so if you're needing, to just get in touch with your heart, to be more loving and open in your heart space, and if maybe you're trying to attract romantic love into your life, then this is an amazing stone. Or to add more romance and love into an existing relationship, this is an amazing stone. You can actually put it under your bed at night to help out with feeling the feelings of love and stuff, or you can put it under your pillow, which I don't really do that kind of stuff. It's a little, hard rock under your pillow doesn't seem very comfortable. So anyways, and then these are one of my favorite stones. I love these so much. They're just little guys, but they're really powerful. And these are called Apache Tears. And so, they're a black color, but some of them, this one's actually kind of see-through, which I don't think you guys can probably see through it like I can. But anyways, this one's kind of brown, brown charcoalish gray. Anyways, Apache Tears are amazing for the heart chakra. They are amazing at healing emotions, especially if you're going through really tough things. especially if you like maybe you lost a loved one. So if you're grieving, dealing with really heavy, hard emotions, these are amazing. And if you can, it's okay to like carry them with you or just have them, you know, alongside you, whether it's like, you know, at your desk if you're like working, or, you know, even by your bedside. They're awesome at helping with things. But the best place to wear these is actually close to your heart. And so like, you know, throw it on a necklace or something like that. And there's all kinds of great jewelers out there that make, you know, different little necklaces and things with Apache Tears. So check that out as well. So anyways, I love my rocks, so I could talk on those, but yeah, maybe I should actually move on and get into the topic of today. So, you know, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about like opening your heart and just sharing your love with the world and with everyone. And the reason I thought of that is because, well, Valentine's Day was just the other day. And so, you know, Valentine's Day, it's a day of love and of sharing and caring and romance, but also like love in our friendships, love in our family relationships. And there's so many different ways to celebrate love. So that kind of inspired me to do this today, because I am not sure if it's talked about as much as I think it should, especially with times like this, like what we're dealing with currently in the world. You know, it's so important for us to connect with one another, even if we can't be with each other physically, to still try to like pass on and share that love with your loved ones, but also to people that are strangers. You know, it's important to share that love. So, you know, and another thing that inspired me to do this video was I came across this video, and it was so heartwarming. And it was about this guy, and I think he was probably about, you know, my age, like 30s, 40s or something. And he went up to this this section of, I think it was LA, and went over to like the homeless people's, like their little camp, their area. And there was like this side of the street, and there's like this chain link fence and all these kind of like makeshift little like tents and structures, you know. So they had like lots of like, you know, blankets and different things, just trying to make like a little makeshift like tent house. And so he went up and he was like, "Hey, is anybody here?" And this gal came out of the tent, and she came over and she's like, "Hi," like kind of like, "How can I help you?" And he's like, "Well, I actually, I would love to buy you some shoes today," because he looked down at her feet and she didn't have any shoes. And she was like, "What?" You know, and she was just really like taken by surprise, like, "You want to buy me shoes? You're a complete stranger. Like, why?" And probably like, "What's the catch? Like, why are you being so nice to me?" And he's like, "No, seriously, I'd like to buy you shoes." So he asked her shoe size. And then, sorry, I gotta clear my throat a little bit. Anyway, asked for her shoe size, and she gives it to him, and she's still kind of like looking at him like disbelief, like, what's this guy really up to? And he's like, "No, I'm gonna get you some shoes." He's like, "Just stay right there and I'll be right back." So he heads out, comes back, and gives her the shoes, like in a brand new box and everything. And she's opening them and her eyes just like light up. And mind you, this gal, she's probably like late 50s, 60s, and she didn't even have any shoes. And like, she looks down and she looked like a little kid. Like, she was so excited because now she has shoes. I mean, God, everybody needs shoes to be walking around outside. And it was so sad that she didn't have any. And so she was just so thankful. And you could just see it in her eyes and her face. It lit up. And he was like, yeah, no problem. And then he like handed her a little bit of cash. And she was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, buy yourself some things that you need. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then they say their goodbyes and he heads out. Well, a few weeks later to a month later, he comes back and he rolls down the window and he's like, hello, anybody there? And she comes out, she's like excited, like kind of screams. She's like, what? Like, it's you, what are you doing here? And, you know, because she obviously thought she'd never see the guy again. And he comes back and he's like, you know, he's like, I have some stuff for you. And so he hands her over like body wash and some more toiletries and a little bit of food and stuff like that. And he's like, I actually wanted to see if you'd like to get your hair done and maybe your nails done. And she's like, oh my God, I would love that. She's like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I'm serious. He's like, get in. So she gets in and he takes her over and gets her hair done. It gets her nails done and she's looking at it in the mirror and she's just so excited, you know, because like they washed it all and gave her like, you know, those awesome little head massages. And I love those when you go get your hair done, get the massage. But yeah, did all that and then did up her hair and she looked at herself and she's just so happy. And yeah, and then so then he takes her back, gives her another little wad of cash and says, go help yourself, you know, go get something. So anyway, I just thought, oh my God, that's just so nice. Like, that's so amazing, this guy. So it was just starting to like kind of like loosen up my heartstrings, you know. It's like, wow, it's pretty amazing to see that this guy is caring so much about this gal and willing to help somebody that's complete stranger that's in need. So anyway, I'm trying to make this a little bit quicker of a story, but yeah, so that happens. He drops her off. So she thought they were parting ways. She'd never see the guy again. She was just thanking him and all this stuff. And next thing you know, a couple weeks go by, a month goes by, he shows up and he rolls down the window and he's like, hey, are you there? And she's like, what? And she comes flying out and she screams and she's like, oh my God, it's you. And you could tell that she was starting to build like a connection with him, kind of like a friendship and stuff. And she's like, comes over and she's like, you know, like, you've done so much for me. Like, I don't need you to do anything else. And he's like, no. He's like, I have one more thing that I want to do for you. And she gets quiet and she looks at him like, okay. And he's like, I have something to show you. He's like, you're never going to be homeless again. I'm going to give you a place to live. And she's like, what? And like looks at him like, what? Kind of like, what's the catch too? And he's like, get in. And so she gets in and then it shows them like her being blindfolded and going into like the little, into the apartment. And he takes off the blindfold and shows her and she's so excited because she looks around and it was, you know, decorated up and she had a little bed and like a TV and things like that. And she like sits down on the bed and she's like, what? This is mine? You could tell. And I mean, it wasn't like a mansion or anything like super amazing, but it was like probably like a studio is what it looked like, pretty small. But just to have the basic stuff of that, to have a roof over her head, to have heat, to have running water, to have a TV, to have her own bed. Like, that was huge. And she's sitting down there on the bed and she just starts crying. She's like, this is really mine? And he's like, yes. He's like, you're never going to be homeless again. So like, obviously he was gonna pay for like the electricity and the rent and stuff like that. But she just cried, and then she like kind of moved over and laid kind of on her side on the bed, and you know, she just looked so innocent and happy, just like a little girl again. And she was like a 60-year-old woman, you know. And man, to watch things like that, it's just so beautiful to see that people like that could think to do something like that for somebody in need, somebody that's struggling, that doesn't even have the basic stuff to survive. Like, I shouldn't say to survive, because she was surviving, but I mean to feel more comfortable, you know, to feel safe, to have your own home, you know, your own space, to have your own bed. I mean, those are the types of things I think that some of us, we can kind of almost take for granted. And there's some folks that they don't have that. And man, it just really warmed my heart. And so I just wanted to share that little story with you about what that guy did for that gal. So that was pretty neat. And so that inspired me, you know, to talk about today, to talk about how I think it is so important to share our love with everyone, you know, because, you know, that's something that I try to do. Like, I'm not super well off, but I believe that I'm supported by God, the universe, the angels, you know, like my divine support system, and that I will always have what I need. Even if there's times where there's been a lot of lack in my life, where, you know, I wasn't quite like homeless, but I wasn't where I wanted to be, you know, 30 some years old and have to move back with your parents, and you know, after like being so independent for so long and doing it on your own, and then having to do that. Granted, it was because I was extremely sick with anxiety, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know, I've talked about that, how I was in such a dark place and I was really sick. And so I couldn't keep a job. And so with that, you know, I didn't have money. There was a lot of times where I barely had anything in my fridge, you know, or would go without meals, and started losing a bunch of weight. And, you know, I was barely able to make my rent payments. And then soon it came to a time that I couldn't even afford that anymore. And so I had to move back in with my mom. And when that happened, God, I felt like I hit rock bottom. Like, there's no way out. Like, what the hell has happened? Who have I become? You know? But all those things that I'm saying right now, that's just my ego. You know, like my pride is like, what the hell, Robbie? Like, get your shit together. But looking at it now, you know, and as I've worked through those emotions and all of that, realized, you know, I was really sick and there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. Like, I couldn't fix it on my own. I needed that help. And so I am forever grateful that my mom stepped in and she helped me. And she let me stay at her place. But I guess what I'm getting at is, you know, I've been there. Haven't been as hard off as that woman was that I talked about, that was living on the streets, homeless. I was homeless, but at least I had a family member, you know, to go to a place to stay, you know. And You know, it could have been a lot tougher than it was. But, you know, at that time, man, it felt like hell. It was a mental trip and a half. But, you know, now that I'm healed and I'm past that, I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm glad that I went through that, because that was one hell of a lesson. Taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about, you know, appreciating what you do have, the little things that you do have, appreciating it. Also realizing you can survive and you will live without all the materialistic things that you think you need. You think you need a new home, a new car, you know, the fanciest clothes, brand names, you know, designer. You think you need all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just shit. It's stuff. You like, when you die, you can't take that with you. So, what you can take with you, though, is those lessons and those experiences and the things that you've encountered and you've felt in your life. And that love. You know? The love that you share with people. Like when I moved in with my mother, yeah, I was not happy about it. It was like unfavorable circumstances. Like, if I can make it any more clear, I hated the shit. But I was thankful, at least I had a place. But I was like so down on myself and putting myself down, which was horrible because I was trying to get out of a dark place, but I was just beating myself up, man. But I'm glad I went through that, because like, it gave me an opportunity to like mend and fix the relationship I had with my mother, because we were not getting along well for quite a few years and barely talked with each other and spent time with each other. And so like, it was so important. And I really think that God, you know, he had a plan. And he had a plan that he was gonna repair our relationship. And he was going to give us that time together. And now, you know, I don't live with her. I have my own life and I'm super independent. So it's like, I kind of get stuck in my own little world, and I need to kind of like remind myself to like back out of it a little bit and try to, you know, go back and spend more time with my mother. I need to do that. But that time was so precious because I was sick, so I didn't have a job. So I was healing and my mom was there, and it was great because it's like we got to like, you know, have these wonderful talks. We'd sit down like out on the patio set outside and, you know, go sit in the sun and watch the birds and look at the trees and just talk about life and talk about my thoughts and what I'm feeling and what she thinks and what's going on in her life. And, you know, I'm getting a little choked up, but those experiences, man, I wouldn't change it for the world. Because I wouldn't have never got that opportunity had I not been sick, had I not needed a place to live. I mean, shit, when I thought I got out of the house like at, you know, 18 and headed off to college, you know, it was like that. It's like, adios, that's the last time I'm planning on living at home. And then so you just get busy, you know, I get busy, they get busy, and get stuck in your own world. And, you know, sometimes you just forget to slow down from the rat race and go actually connect with your family. It's so important. So if you haven't seen your mother or your father or any of your loved ones in a while, do that. This is a little reminder for you. Go spend time with those people that are important in your life. And so, yeah, it's just from that time of, you know, having to live at my mom's house and, you know, not really having any money and well, no money that I earned, you know, just a little bit of money that, you know, my folks would give me here and there for things. Like, being in that situation, it taught me that now it's like, I know how that feels. You know, like I was saying before, maybe not to the extent of living on the street and really trying to scrape by, but I was still scraping by. And so now that I'm better off and I have my own place and I have money and stuff, like, now anytime I can, I try to go and like help people out. And, you know, whether it's just like, you know, somebody that's on the side of the road that's holding like a little sign, you know, looking for a little bit of money, I'll go give them some money, or I'll go donate things that I don't need to, like, you know, the missions and stuff, and try to do like, you know, coat drives in the winter time. Or there was like a blanket drive where like gather up blankets from extra ones that I have and some family members and some friends, and, you know, got that together and like give that to those people, because it gets so cold, you know. And yeah, there's like a little in the town that I live in, there's like a little shelter and stuff, but those get full. Like, there's a lot of homeless folks around here, unfortunately. And so I really wish that there was something better in place to help them. Like, I've heard about in larger cities where they've done like actual homeless communities, and that's something I definitely wish this city would get involved in. And, you know, that's actually one of my biggest goals, is to help out in that way. So I hope that one day, like, you know, maybe this channel will take off and my other endeavors will take off, and I'll be able to get the funds to start something like that, because I truly believe everybody, every person on this planet deserves to have food, water, clean water, heat, and air conditioner or fan if they need that, because, you know, it gets hot in the summer. Clothing, a bed, a roof over their head. Everybody deserves that. I believe that everybody deserves to have those basic necessities. Yeah, so I just really hope that, especially in the place that I live in and across the United States and the world, I hope that, you know, we start to distribute money in a way to help people that are less fortunate. That not just distributing the money, distributing our heart energy, like our love, our compassion, our empathy for people. Even if you haven't been through that scenario of being homeless or losing your own place like I had to have to go and move in with your folks, like, even if you don't have any big losses like that, to still like have compassion and empathy and try to put yourself in that person's shoes, you know? So I just hope that we all start to like help each other out more, because we all are in this together. We're all connected. And I know that, you know, especially around the spiritual community and stuff, that's kind of like a term I almost feel is kind of like overused, is we are one. It's really true though, because we all are impacting each other's lives. Sometimes directly, indirectly. We're all a part of this planet, you know, we're all citizens of planet Earth. We all should care about each other. We should care about the environment, you know, we should care about how we treat this earth, Mother Earth, how we treat the animals. all of that. It's all sacred. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but I think it's important to say. So yeah, I was just gonna kind of like share with you guys, like, if you aren't familiar with like methods to open your heart chakra, because that does really play a part. You know, if you're not familiar with chakras, definitely look it up. I mean, there's all kinds of information on the internet, so I'm not going to go in deep on what a chakra is, but in a nutshell, it's we have energy centers, the chakras, that start, you know, from the top of our head and go all the way down to our spine, and they're energy centers. And so your heart chakra is right over your heart, and it can, so like energy, so we're energy, all of us, everything out here that we see in this world is energy. Even something as simple as, well, not simple, but I mean as appearing to be inanimate object, this rock, it has energy. You probably think, okay, maybe, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. It's that it has energy, it's alive, it has a frequency that it vibrates at, and it can actually be scientifically tested. So if you don't believe me, look it up. But yeah, and so we are all energy, and so we have energy points in our body, or like the chakras. And our heart chakra, we can actually have a full open heart chakra, or we can have a closed down one. And so a lot of times when we have like a closed down one, it means that we're not emitting that heart chakra energy, which is that love. We're not lighting that out into the world. We're not giving that to people, you know? And so a lot of times the reason why we get closed off heart chakras, or kind of a closed down heart, is because if we've been really hurt, if there's a lot of trauma in that area. And so, you know, and then that's kind of correlated to why, you know, this is a neat method of trying to do some healing, is using some crystals that'll help heal that heart chakra, heal those emotions. And so, you know, that's something I've really been through too, is, you know, I've had a lot of like painful experiences in my life, and a lot of like failed love relationships, and a lot of, I've dealt with a lot of death of people that were so important to me and that I truly loved. And so when that pain happened, there was a lot of times where I did just close off, and it was like the pain was too great, so I hardened up and I put like this armor up. So then I wasn't allowing anybody to get into my heart and into my life and truly into who I am, my essence. And so that was, you know, quite a few different times in my life where, you know, let people in, you get hurt, you get burnt, and then you close down or lose somebody and you just feel like the rug's jerked out from under you because they're no longer there. And you're just stuck with that emptiness, you know, and that pain. And so, you know, learning about like trying to heal that area, healing your heart chakra and how to open it. And, you know, even if like, say you're hurting right now and you feel like you do have a closed chakra, heart chakra, it's so important to, you know, try to find methods to heal, like using the stones, or like maybe talking with a trusted friend, or talking with a counselor, you know, or maybe like look into heart chakra meditations, like guided meditations. There's tons of them online, and really try to like work that out and open it again, because it's so important. Like, of course I want you to be healed. Like, I don't want anybody to have to sit there and like hold that type of pain in their heart. It doesn't feel good, and it starts to just drain you. Like, it starts to affect your physical body and your health. Like, there's a whole dynamic of having your energetics in your body should always be in alignment and be balanced. And if they're not, then disease starts to form in the body as well, you know. And there's just a lot of correlations, and I could go off on a tangent on that one too, but I won't. But it's just, trust me, it's so connected. And if you want to look into stuff like that, check out Ayurvedic Medicine. It talks a lot about that, about how the energetic body, the emotional body, and the physical body, and the spiritual body, they're so connected. And so a lot of times if your heart chakra is unbalanced, that energy, then you'll get actual heart problems. And I've actually dealt with that numerous occasions in my life. Heart palpitations, heart beating out of control, or my heart would kind of like slow down. I'd kind of like skip beats. And so that was all during times that I was carrying really heavy ass emotions in my heart. Well, in myself, And I just, I just thought, oh, just keep stuffing it down, Like don't let it affect you, And that's not the answer. The answer is to feel it, to go through it, to heal it. That's the only way you can heal, is to go through it. So, kind of preaching, but it's so important. So important to heal your heart, to open your heart and give out that love. Because when you have like an open heart chakra, when you're feeling like, you're not in pain in your heart anymore, you're not carrying around all this baggage, all this pain and suffering, then you're lighter. You feel better. You radiate out that energy to people. You're willing to love and accept love more. You have a smile on your face. If you're a huggy person, you want to give hugs, you want to like have jokes and have a sense of humor, like all of that stuff's connected. That happiness, it beams out of you, and then it affects people, Just like that story of how that guy helped out that woman, He like shared his love. Yeah, he bought her things and gave her materialistic items, but it all started with that care. It started with that compassion. And so that is the message for today. It's just to think like, how is your heart feeling? Are there unresolved emotions that you need to clear out and to address? How are your interactions going with the people in your life, with your friends, your family, with your coworkers, with yourself? Like, how are you showing love to people in all those areas? It's just so important. Share that love. So anyway, I think I will leave you with that. And I'm so awful at trying to promote myself. But because I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but I'm really bad at it. So I would really appreciate it if you like this video, if it does resonate with you. If you got some good information out of here, definitely hit like. Subscribe if you would like to, kind of stay in the loop with me and my channel and see what I'm doing in the future. You can hit the little bell icon so that you're notified when I have a new video, so you can stay in the loop. I put up a video every week, and then I also will put my information in the description box below. And so there I actually am a spiritual mentor, coach, and I'm also an essential oil advisor. And so you can learn about my services in the description box below. And you can always like email me and reach out to me too if you'd like to know more about like what I have to offer, pricing, everything like that. So I just wish you well, and I wish you so much happiness, and giving you all of my love today. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.